Order, roll call, please.
Alderman Catalano.
Here.
Alderman Jacob.
Here.
Alderman Messina.
Yes.
Alderman Sorrentino.
Here.
Alderman Sizmarsky. Alderman E. Wesley.
Here.
Alderman R. Wesley.
Here.
Alderman Woods.
Here.
Mayor Police.
Here, I declare a quorum present. Please stand, join the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I need a motion to approve the city council minutes of September 7th.
I'll make the motion. Second.
Do we have any corrections, comments, objections? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That carries.
Mr. Mayor,
Alderman Wesley,
I wanted to
yes.
catch you before that. Due to the due to the shooting in Vegas, I think we should do a moment of silence for the victims there and their families and for the people in Puerto Rico.
Very nice idea. Moment of silence, please. Okay. Thank you, Alderman Wesley. Communications and petitions. Do any citizens, I do have some citizens this evening, would like to be heard? We'll start with Andrew Kijowski. Did I get that name right?
Sure, yeah, do it.
If, please go to the podium, state your name, address. There you go.
Hi, good evening. My name is Andrew Kachowski, and my address is 392 Preserve Lane in Wooddale, 60191. I actually have purchased this lot a year ago in the Ethan Woods subdivision, and all of us as lot owners received a letter from an attorney stating that they need us to get a homeowners association to cover, some pond maintenance or something like that. And when I purchased this lot a year ago, there was no bylaws or anything in my contract that stated that we had an association or we were supposed to have one. So we're here questioning that and what we're supposed to do with that and where that information came from.
Mr. Bond.
Yeah, and I'm certainly, if we have a relatively short meeting, I'd be glad to make myself available. I know a number of residents in that subdivision did contact me in response. I was the one who wrote the letter on behalf of the city. And generally what happens in a development is there is a unified owner. The developer owns the property, and he would, or she, or the company would create a homeowners association prior to turning it over to the selling off the lots. And that wasn't done. I know the original developer went bankrupt. There was another subsequent developer came in. That was never done, and it's been going on for all this time and had not been done. And typically that's what's done in order to take care of some of the maintenance, the common area maintenances that are common to all of the property owners. It takes the burden off of any one individual property owner, but I can go through information as to how the city arrived at that determination and the documentation relative to that if you want to stick around after the meeting.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Diana Blagic and Walt Cobbs.
Hi, I'm Diane Blaggage. I live at 390 Preserve Lane in Wooddale, Illinois.
And I'm Walt Cobbs, and I would live in the same address. And we have a couple questions about it because when we moved out there, there wasn't a lot of things done with the subdivision, that when we came in there needed to be improvements, And we were never notified that we needed a homeowner association because we only were out there by ourselves. So we're thinking that with the amount of people that are out there now, we have really 2 people or 3 people that live there. For us to try to get a homeowners association with them trying to pay to do the maintenance would be almost impossible, because I've talked to some of the people already. We could probably do liens, but, you know, that's not my position. Now you're putting this, you know, you're putting a burden on us because we're homeowners with 3 people out there, and now we have the burden of trying to get these people to pay for the maintenance, which is, I think that's unfair to us. And we never knew anything about the lift stations being put in when we first moved out there. We've been there for 5 years.
5 years.
And
This is
nobody's
a
ever said
first.
anything to us about that. If we would have known about that, you know, we could have done something differently. And now it's getting to a point where these people are saying, well, we're not gonna pay. So, do I have to hire an attorney at our cost to get this done? How is this gonna be done? What kind of maintenance is on a lift station? We have no idea what a lift station does. It maybe moves water, but we see Wooddale coming down the block all the time, and they're fixing a lift station already. So I don't know what the costs are. Is it gonna be impossible for me to collect the money from the other people that own lots there? And I'm getting a lot of resistance from that. So, you know, maybe you could help me where I'm not gonna be getting all this expense on me as a homeowner in Wooddale, where I'm gonna be sitting there paying for all these people trying to pay for these lots.
When the developer went bankrupt, wasn't there a bond in place to finish things that the builder didn't finish in that subdivision? The streets, the lights, the sewer? I would imagine it would apply to the association formation of the same.
Mr. Bond.
Yeah, there was a bond that was posted when the developer went under. That was for certain improvements. Those improvements had been done. It doesn't and never would cover the establishment of a homeowners association, the funding of a homeowners association, or anything else. That's not how it works by law. And I did speak, I believe I spoke to both of you in response to the receipt of my letter. And you know, to the extent that the city can provide you with some estimated costs of what the maintenance might be for a lift station, you know, we certainly can do that. With respect to the number of homes there versus the number of parcels, the homeowners association would apply to all parcels in there because they share equally. Whether they bought a house or not, they're going to be members of that, and as members, they're also going to be assessed whatever you as a homeowners association do. The city doesn't oversee, doesn't establish, and doesn't have the legal authority to establish a homeowners association under Illinois law. So the city could not have done anything other than it's required. The developers documents were that the developer was going to. They didn't. And as a result, it, you know, should have been detected perhaps sooner. The city's been going ahead and doing a lot of the work on there that would have otherwise been at the cost of the homeowners. But they don't have the legal authority to establish the association, nor should they be doing maintenance on what is essentially a private development. So that's why that's what prompted the letter, and I think the city's reasonable to say, understanding this is thrown in your lap at this juncture, but to give you some time and you know, to try and sort through this.
None of us want an association. And we're surprised to get this 5 years after we've moved in.
Are you going to talk? Are you going to speak to him after? Okay.
Well, we would like to just, could I just say one more thing?
Yes, go ahead.
We'd like to get the cost. We need support from the city to help collect, because, you know, we're busy people too, and, you know, for us to be in a homeowner association, you need full cooperation. And if I can't get that, then what legal options do I have? And what do I have to do to get these people to do it? That's, you know, if they don't want to do it, what do I do? You know, is there going to be liens on properties, or what do you do?
Mr. Bond.
Yeah, that's essentially what you do, but if you have a few moments to stick around, otherwise, as I said, I've spoken to you before, I can talk to you again if you don't have time this
Okay.
evening.
That's fine.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. One more, we have Mr. David Hesterock.
Good evening, City Council. My name is David Hasrock. I live at 330 Maple here in Wooddale. I'd like to address just a couple of things that maybe the city's not aware of. Flood Brothers. I was here when Flood Brothers came in and said that they're willing to work with the people in town here. Could you do something about the Flood Brothers garbage trucks slowing down when they're going down the street? They're picking up garbage, then they run and go rushing right down to the next one, and half of the garbage, or some of the garbage, I should say, blows out, and after they pick up the garbage, and we gotta go out on the lawn and pick up garbage along Commercial that flew out of their truck, and we're doing this all over again. And it's because they're kind of like speeding in the neighborhood with those. I understand, maybe they gotta, maybe they're time sensitive, that they gotta do this at a certain amount of time, but, you know, they could slow down. I mean, you know, God forbid, we don't want nobody to get hit or hurt. The next thing I want to address is the train whistle. I don't know about anybody else in this town, but I am really getting sick and tired of, especially when it's nice out and you want to leave the windows open, and 2 o'clock in the morning, the freight train comes through and he doesn't care. There is no train horn in Itasca. There's no train horn in Bensonville. They blow through here, and I sat at Irving Park in the tracks on a Sunday morning. That freight train started blowing over here west of the tracks, and he carried that thing all the way to Ash, never let up on that thing once. And I can just about imagine people who live close to those tracks, how do they like that? Okay? This train horn, and then I was told that there's something else that has to be done before these train horns can be stopped. Something over on Ash. When is that gonna be done? What's the holdup? What's the problem getting that done so we can end this?
Chief, go ahead, you want to answer that?
Sure, I'll give you an update. All the walkthroughs and everything have been done with the Federal Railroad Administration. We're expecting approval by either the end of the year or early next year. And the stuff that's done on Ash Street, the railroad crossing improvements, those were already completed. I believe tonight council is approving a median, and that'll be done before the Federal Railroad Administration is going to approve it. But that's already going to be in before they approve it. So when they approve the quiet zone, we should be able to implement it within a couple weeks. So
Within a couple of weeks before this end of the year?
as soon as we hear from them. We don't know when we're going to hear from them. It's in Washington, and it's been there since for several months now. So.
Okay.
Mr. Hastelrock?
Yes.
I know we've heard this for a couple of years now in this quiet zone. I'm personally hoping for the end of the year, but I'm thinking more like spring, to be honest with you, the way these guys move. We're doing our part.
Don't we have any friends in Washington that could kind of push this along a little bit further?
Believe me, I'm one of those residents that lives by the tracks, and at 4:30 this morning, they were laying on the horn, I could tell you
Yes.
that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Surely, let the minutes show that Alderman Sismarski's here. Oh, okay. I didn't see him sneak in. Next, do any other residents wish to address the council? Okay, I have no written communique this evening. Under Mayor's report, Eagle Scout Andrew Welmers is not here this evening. They had told me they were coming. I will just read the proclamation, and we'll see if he'd like to come to a future meeting. I know the chief had a plaque for him as well. Eagle Scout Andrew Martin Welmers, whereas the Boy Scouts of America is a vital force in the development of our youth through its many programs which encourage the ability of its members to do things for themselves and especially for others, and whereas one of the major objectives in the scouting program is to develop citizenship through community involvement, and in addition to working for citizenship merit badges, Scouts are encouraged to participate in community service projects. God bless you. And whereas Andrew Martin Welmers is a member of Boy Scouts of America and has not only proven himself to be an outstanding member, but has attained the highest honor bestowed on a scout, the Eagle Scout Award. And whereas the Eagle Scout Award is a distinction that will follow him throughout life and will be a beacon to others of the leadership, quality, and commitment this young man has shown. Now therefore, I, Mayor Annunziata Police, recognize Andrew Martin Welmers as worthy of this highest honor and encourage him to continue in his commitment to excellence. You have the plaque, correct, Chief? All right, well, we'll reach out to them. Maybe they forgot to. Next, Domestic Violence Awareness Month proclamation. Whereas 1 in every 3 teenagers, 1 in every 4 women, and 1 in every 6 men will experience domestic violence during their lifetime, and whereas domestic violence shelters in Illinois serve 41,916 adult survivors and 8,124 child witnesses in 2016 alone, and whereas when a family member is abused, it can have a long-term damaging effect on the victim that also leaves a mark on family, friends, and community at large. Whereas the problem of domestic violence is not confined to any group or groups of people, but crosses all economic, racial, gender, educational, religious, and societal barriers, and is sustained by societal indifference, and whereas survivors should have help and to find the compassion, comfort, and healing they need. Whereas survivors of violence should have access to medical and legal services, counseling, shelter, and other supportive services so they can escape the cycle of abuse. And whereas local programs, state coalitions, national organizations, and other agencies nationwide are committed to increasing public awareness of domestic violence and its prevalence and to eliminating it through prevention and education. Therefore, in recognition of the important work done by domestic violence programs and victims service providers, the City of Wooddale do hereby proclaim the month of October as Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And I have next, Community Planning Month proclamation. Whereas change is constant and affects all cities, towns, suburbs, counties, boroughs, townships, rural areas, and other places, and whereas community planning and plans can help manage this change in a way that provides better choices for how people work and live, and whereas community planning provides an opportunity for all residents to meaningful involved in making choices that determine the future of their community, and whereas the full benefits of planning requires public officials and citizens who understand, support, and demand excellence in planning and plan implementation, and whereas the month of October is designated as National Community Planning Month throughout the United States of America and its territories, and whereas the American Planning Association, its professional institute, the American Institute of Certified Planners, endorsed National Community Planning Month as the opportunity to highlight the contribution sound planning and plan implementation make to make the quality of our settlements and environment. Whereas the celebration of National Community Planning Month gives us the opportunity to publicly recognize the participation and dedication of the members of planning commissions and other citizen planners who have contributed their time and expertise to the improvement of the City of Wooddale. Whereas we recognize the many valuable contributions made by professional community and regional planners of the City of Wooddale and extend our heartfelt thanks for the continued commitment to public service by these professionals. Now there be it resolved, the month of October 2017 is hereby designated as Community Planning Month in the City of Wooddale in conjunction with the celebration of National Community Planning. And just to let everybody know, on that note, October 19th will be the city's open house for our comprehensive plan from 4 to 6:30 p.m. in the old SBT Bank right next door to City Hall here. Next, the AIM presentation. Chief?
Thank you, Mayor. If I could have Charlie Woolley join me up here along with Officer Drost, Johnston, and Grant. Tragedy brought Charlie Woolley and her family into our life many years ago. It's really a blessing for us every year to have her come and remind us of the important work that's being done to prevent, tragedies that her family, so hopefully many other families don't have to go through the same type of tragedies. So, Charlie.
Thank you, Chief. I was thinking on the way here, because I drive about 2.5 hours to get here, and it's my privilege to be able to do this every year. This is the 17th year that I've been doing this, and it's hard for me to believe that it's been that long already. I also do National Night Out in Wooddale, and they don't even have to ask me twice. It's always a yes. Whatever I'm doing, I rearrange my plans. But as many of you know, this is a picture of Eric. Eric was 17 years old when he was killed by a drunk driver. These are the last pictures that we have of him. He would have been 35 this year in August. It was at Thorndale and Wooddale, and he was actually coming from swim practice. He was an Eagle Scout. He was an Order of the Arrow with his father, and he was working for his father. And he was going down Thorndale and heading towards Tawny to make a left turn to go to work with his dad, and his dad was coming up Tawny to Thorndale. And he saw Eric's blue IROC Z and thought, wow, I'm going to wave at him when I go by and honk at him. And he looked away, and I'm thankful that he did look away for a split second, because the next thing he heard was the crashing of metal. And it was a semi that went through what he thought was a yellow light but was red. He thought he had a red car, I think, truck in front of him, but it was white. And he was going over 60 miles an hour in a 45-mile-an-hour zone. He was a repeat offender. He had been drinking all night the night before, and he had gotten stoned that morning smoking a joint. He knew how to play the game, so he refused to take breathalyzer or do anything, and he went home. Thankful for the chief in the city of Wooddale and the police department here, as well as a task force that they put together from officers from around the area. They were able to get a warrant and take him in and have his blood drawn. And there was a national person who did the nanograms back on how much marijuana, and they have no idea how he got into a truck, and he drove that truck. My husband was the first one over to Eric. The police didn't want to let him through because my husband's a biker, long gray hair, wearing his grubby clothes, he works construction. When he told them it was the father of the young man in the car, they let him in. Eric was still breathing when he got to the car, and he told Eric not to worry, that he was going to be okay. They're going to airlift him and take him to the hospital. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. By the time he got to Alexian Brothers, he passed away. If it wasn't for this town, this city, and the police here, and their work, and the county of DuPage, and Joe Burkett at the time, the man who hit Eric was a repeat offender. He got 14 years. He didn't get good time off for good behavior. A law went into effect that he had to serve 85% of his time. He is out, and I'm here to tell you that he has another court appearance for a DUI again. He's back in DuPage County. My husband can't get the information, but I get it every month from the Vine, which tells you about people that have been in prison. And they send me every month, it's continued, continued, continued. He's going to go back to jail again. So I come here as a thank you because justice was served. It wouldn't bring Eric back. I also come because I like to speak to people here, and I speak to the schools, and I speak at impact panels throughout our area to let people know how it touched our lives, and not to make the same mistake, because driving is not a right, it's a privilege. So I thank you again for letting me be here this evening.
Thank you.
Thanks. Charlie, if I could have you hand out the certificates. Officer Maria Ostin, formerly Grana, she's on her honeymoon, so she couldn't be here tonight. But she was one of our top 4 DUI producers, too, just trying to make the dates marry up. But between the 4 of them, they had almost 90 DUI arrests last year. And for their career, they total over 315 DUIs. So they're out there preventing tragedies like this from happening. And you'll never know the number that you prevent. But guys, thank you for the hard work that you do out there. And Charlie, thanks for coming and reminding us why we do it. So, Officer Dan Drost, Officer Alex Johnston, and Officer Evan Grant. Thanks, guys.
Of course you do. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. No problem. Thank you.
Next, the city manager's report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Two items. First item, just a reminder that the Tollway is hosting a ribbon cutting event Saturday, October 28th from 7:30 in the morning until 1 p.m., roughly at 83, where it intersects with the new Tollway. It'll be a family-friendly event with trick-or-treating and other fun activities. Second item, the city did collect our hurricane boxes that we had put out. We did collect $285.16. The last time we put out hurricane relief boxes was in 2013. At that time, we collected $252.37, and in 2013, the city did add $500 to the donation to total $752.37 back in 2013.
I'll make a motion to approve for number 500.
I was going to say, if, really, we just need direction because the manager can do that. But
okay.
is everybody in agreement to the $500? Okay. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that concludes my report.
Thank you. Next, we have 7 items on the consent agenda. Are there any objections? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make the motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Randy. Now I'll entertain a motion to approve the items on the agenda. Item 1, a resolution approving a contract with Horror Construction for mainline rehabilitation of sanitary sewer in an amount not to exceed $191,492. Item number 2, a resolution seeking to approve a contract between the City of Wooddale and Thomas Engineering Group for the engineering services for the pedestrian bridge repairs in an amount not to exceed $19,526.98. Item number 3, a resolution seeking to approve a contract between the City of Wooddale and A-Lamp Concrete Contractors for the Ash Avenue Median Project in an amount not to exceed $42,885.05. Item number 4, approval of final payment request to Martam Construction for the Prospect Potter Park Stormwater Project in an amount not to exceed $59,386.05. Item number 5, approval of change order number 1 for the Martam Construction Potter Prospect Park Project and a reduction of the cost of the project by $5,640.41 to a project value of $357,304.59. Item number 6, approval of change order number 1 with HR Green for Phase 2 design in a northeast-northwest corner of Wooddale and Irving Park Road, an amount not to exceed $15,000. Item number 7, an ordinance adjusting the City of Wooddale sewer use charges forth in Chapter 7, Article 8, Section 7.821 of the City Code. Do I have a motion?
Make that motion.
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Alderman Catalano.
Yes.
Alderman Jacob.
Yes.
Alderman Messina.
Yes.
Alderman Sorrentino.
Yes.
Alderman Sizmarsky.
Yes.
Alderman E. Wesley.
Yes.
Alderman R. Wesley.
Yes.
Alderman Woods.
Yes.
That passes. Next, committee chairman reports. Planning and zoning, Alderman Woods.
No report, Mayor.
Thank you. Public health and safety,
No report, Mayor.
thank you. Public works, Alderman Sismarski.
We have 3, Mayor. Want to have a resolution seeking to approve a contract between the City of Wooddale and Patton Power System, also known as CAT, for the purchase and installation of a new backup generator at the City Hall and Police Department in the not to exceed amount $101,835 even.
There's your motion?
That's my motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions? Alderman Wesley, you have a question?
Yeah, I have, actually 2.
Go ahead.
Do we not repair the parts, or what's the latest on the update on?
Mr. York.
Yes, thank you. Due to the fact that we were bringing forward this new purchase, we did not repair any of the old, just you throwing money away, so we didn't do any of the repairs.
Go ahead, you have a follow-up? Go
Are
ahead.
there parts available to repair it,
Mr. York.
if there is?
The one part was not available, it'd have to be manufactured, and the other part was, had a lengthy lead time on it.
You have a follow-up?
No, Mayor, I do not.
Any, Alderman Messina?
Yeah, we follow up on that question. Are we able to kind of scrap that one that we have, maybe save it for parts or sell parts?
Mr. York?
I do not know what we're ultimately going to do with that generator when it's removed at this time. To be honest with you, it's a very large piece of equipment that I really don't have room to store anywhere, so odds are it's probably going to be moved out rather quickly.
You have a follow-up? Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Alderman Catalano?
Yes.
Alderman Jacob?
Yes.
Alderman Messina?
Yes.
Alderman Sorrentino?
Yes.
Alderman Sitmarski?
Yes.
Alderman E. Wesley?
No.
Alderman R. Wesley?
Yes. Yes.
Alderman Woods?
Yes.
And that passes.
Next, I have approval partial payment request for, or number 4, for A-Lamp Construction, concrete contractors. The Ward 2 Phase 3 Forest View project, in the not to exceed amount of $99,535.81. That is my motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Questions? Roll call. Oh, I didn't see your hand up.
I did.
Sorry. Go
Uh,
ahead, Alderman Wesley.
One question, where are we at with that project, punch list and that?
Mr. York, you gonna take this one?
Yes, sir. Punch list items that are remained are some work to be done on a couple driveways. And there's some other small punch list items. And then the major punch list item that's involved will be the sod replacement, which will, as noted in the manager's report, will not take place until spring.
Go ahead, you have a follow-up?
Yeah, will the driveways get put in before winter here, or are we going to do it all at once?
Mr. York.
They said that they would do it before the end of October.
Okay.
Alderman Roy Wesley, yes.
Could you tell me why sod, why wait till spring?
Go ahead, Mr. York.
Well, this obviously has been a little bit of an odd summer for grass growth. Very much like the Edgewood sidewalk project, if you wanted to take out everything that looked brown, we'd probably rip out almost 90% of the grass and replace it. So we worked with A-Lamp, and we thought we would wait until the spring to see what came back and then replace the stuff that is actually dead and not just gone dormant.
Go ahead, you have a follow-up, Alderman Wesley?
I find that very odd in that situation due to the cooler weather comes in September. And true, we haven't had the cooler weather, but it's cooler weather now. And there's no reason why you can't lay sod into October or November. I mean, I do it all the time on the golf course. So a golf course is different, yeah, because there's water, but that doesn't make sense that you can't do it in the fall.
Mr. York.
I don't think we're arguing the fact that we can lay sod in October, because we are going to, on the Edgewood project, we're going to replace the sod in October. We just felt that it would be advantageous to try to get one line of sod replacement done instead of continually trying to fight the sod replacements over and over and over. It's, this obviously, this summer did not give us any help, especially since the sod was laid, and then we immediately had a flood condition down in that area. There's also the 184 Forest View location, which was disrupted with the Harvey project. So it's not just, it's kind of, there's about 3 or 4 different things that have led us to the decision to do it in the spring.
Go ahead, you have a follow-up, Alderman Ray?
Yes, in return of that, this, Alderman Wesley mentioned about the punch list not being done, the sod not being done. How much are we holding back on that whole sod then?
Do we have a number on that? Who has that?
There's a
Mr. York.
there's a partial payment today. where previous payments, let's see, we're at 1.156 million less retainage. We have 60,000 in retainage, and there's still about $70,000 of outstanding work, so $130,000 is being left.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Alderman Catalano.
Yes.
Alderman Jacob.
Yes.
Alderman Messina.
Yes.
Alderman Sorrentino.
Yes.
Alderman Sizmarsky.
Yes.
Alderman E. Wesley.
Yes.
Alderman R. Wesley.
Yes.
Alderman Woods.
Yes.
And that passes.
Third, I have an approval for change order number 1 with HR Green for the Phase 3 construction management for the Wooddale and Irving Park Road project and not to exceed amount of $29,509.50. That's my motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Do we have any questions? Eugene,
So-
Alderman Wesley, Eugene Wesley.
First, my memory, is that the clock tower?
No, this is the,
Go ahead.
this is the
Let's hear.
intersection project.
The intersection?
Mhm.
That we have not seen the punch list on that yet, for either HR Green or the state, am I correct?
Mr. York.
There is an HR Green punch list, yes. There has not been one from the state yet. The project is not completed.
You have a
This is
follow-up?
This is for the construction management section due to the delays on utilities.
Got it.
Alderman Roy Wesley, you had your hand up as well?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
just for information, Matt, there's a lot of plants that's already died in the intersection there, in the middle island, so I don't know what kind of warranty is on that.
Go ahead, Mr. York.
It would all be part of the final punch list. Those are all required to be alive by the time we take over the intersection in those islands, and we have not done that yet.
Okay.
Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Alderman Catalano.
Yes.
Alderman Jacob.
Yes.
Alderman Messina.
Yes.
Alderman Sorrentino.
Yes.
Alderman Sizmarsky.
Yes.
Alderman E. Wesley.
No.
Alderman R. Wesley.
Yes.
Alderman Woods.
Yes.
And that passes.
Concludes my report, Mayor.
Thank you. Finance and Administration, Alderman Messina.
Two reports, Mayor. First one, approval of a not to exceed amount of $2,500 for costs associated with the 2018 Wooddale Charity Gala.
Is that your motion?
That's my motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Questions? Alderman Roy Wesley, yes?
I understand this comes out of hotel tax, which is fine. We're using some city staff on it, that's fine. But why every year we have the $2,500? Why doesn't the organizations of putting this thing together take it out of their profits and take the $2,500 and put it in the kitty so they have it for next year to start up? If that's the case. I mean, every year we're making a donation then to these charities of $2,500. And true, we have other organizations that come here that ask for donations, 500, and we do give it to them. But I don't understand why we just keep doing this year after year after year when you could take a kitty and put it in a kitty and save it and start up the cost there. So, I mean, same thing that we do for, and we should be doing the same thing for Prairie Fest, taking that money and putting money away for a kitty.
Need to make money on it first.
We have to make money first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, we don't know, the
I mean-
Prairie Fest does not make money
No.
generally.
And that's fine. It's not there, it's supposed to make money, but if it doesn't, the community enjoys it. On a gala here, everyone can enjoy it, because some families might not be able to afford it. They can't bring their kids, or they can't afford to go to the gala because it costs money for tickets. So in return, we're taking this $2,500 out of hotel tax, and we're giving it to the gala to start up. The gala should be funding themselves. And the $2,500, they should take it from that, the profits. So it's year after year, and I can understand 1 year, 2 years, but we're going year after year. I can't see that.
If that's council's desire, then they will say no this evening.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions?
But I got one.
Another one? Yes, go ahead,
Yeah.
Alderman Roy Wesley.
Was there a motion made already on this?
Yes, a motion and a second.
You know, I guess I want to make another motion and say, okay, that this will be the last year, but then they should start funding, doing a kitty for themselves.
You have to wait for this one to be shot down first.
I'll second
This has to fail.
Well, there's a motion on the floor, unless the motioner and the seconder agree to the amendment. The motioner and the seconder agree to the amendment, otherwise we'll go with the first motion.
We'll just go with the first motion, and then we can go with this, because that's what he wants to do anyway.
Okay.
I don't want to rescind my first motion.
Okay. So we have the original motion, go ahead. Roll call, please.
Oh, I got a question.
Another Alderman Jacob.
So right now, we're voting on the motion to approve the 2,500?
Correct.
Correct, as
And-
originally.
Okay, and then are we doing that other motion too, or if this passes, then?
If it fails,
Okay, if it fails, then, okay.
maybe.
Mayor?
Ready?
Go ahead.
Alderman Catalano?
Yes.
Alderman Jacob?
Yes.
Alderman Messina?
Yes.
Alderman Sorrentino?
No.
Alderman Sizmarsky?
Yes.
Alderman E. Wesley?
No.
Alderman R. Wesley?
No?
Alderman Woods?
Yes.
That passes.
So, Mayor, so,
Yes, Alderman Woods.
yeah, I was just gonna say, so now we can still entertain Alderman Roy Wesley. He can make that motion.
That'll
if
have
we
to
wanna-
be a future
Another
discussion. If we-
Different meeting.
Okay.
It'll be another meeting. So if we want to bring that up, Mr. Murmas? I guess under finance at some point.
Okay. Secondly, a resolution adopting the strategic plan for the city of Wooddale for fiscal year 2019 through fiscal year 2020. That is my motion.
So we have a-
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. I do have a question myself. There was a marketing job. Do we have a job description for that yet, Mr. Murmas?
No, I have not developed that description. It was going to be some sort of hybrid marketing, public relations, outreach, special event guru, so I haven't quite come up with the total job description or title yet. I am working on developing that, as I believe the council's intent is to get that going shortly. I just don't have it done yet.
Alderman Wesley, Eugene Wesley, you were first.
Right, so the question is, so we're going to vote on this fiscal 2019 to 2020. So what we're actually doing is voting to approve.
The strategic plan that was
Right.
Saturday,
So
correct?
my point is, we already give the blessing to him with to the plan, even though he's got to come back with a job description. We told him he could go ahead and do it now then, if we vote on this to pass this tonight.
Mr. Barnes, go ahead.
Because it's in the plan.
What you've done is, in adopting the plan, we had a discussion about this on the Saturday strategic plan, is you're authorizing the position, you're authorizing the manager to move forward with that marketing position. I think he indicated at that time that there was money in the budget due to other personnel situations that would allow that. And then you will be addressing, you'll get a copy of the job description, you'll be addressing whether or not this is a position going forward that you as a council wish to fund as part of your personnel budget discussions and, you know, what those services that are there, so.
But
Did you have a follow-up? Go ahead.
So in his marketing position, which Jeff received email from me, my question is, what department is this going to go under if you put it in the budget that you proceeded? Does it go under the building department? Does it go under your office? Where is this position going?
Mr. Murmas.
The intent is to have it in administration,
So
in my
what-
office.
Go ahead.
So what you're asking for is to add a marketing person in administration for budget right now then? What you're basically asking for is adoption.
Mr. Bond.
No, it's already in the budget.
Yes.
The funds are in the budget for, under personnel. So he'll be coming to you at the next budget workshop and cycle for that to be included in that position, if he determines that's something that is worthy of continuing, he'll ask for that to be included in the next year's budget to be funded.
Right. I have one other question.
Okay, go ahead.
The other question is then, is the money wasn't there when we did the original budget. There was no mention of a marketing person in last year's budget. Okay? So are we looking at the personnel that have retired, like the police department and other people? Are you looking at that money
Mr. Murmas.
for that personnel?
Yeah, the discussion on the Saturday morning focused around the retirements and job reclassifications in the PD was upwards of a couple $100,000. So then the thought was to try to get a head start, hire the person now because we have so much money in the budget, and then during the budget season, you can then decide if you want to reallocate that position for the following year and keep that position.
Okay. Alderman Messina, you were next.
I had a couple questions as a motioner, and I may actually amend my motion. But just for the council, I'd ask, and I mentioned this at the strategic meeting, today, there is no, you're a marketing guy. So I want to know, I mean, I guess I'd say I'm a little disappointed I don't have a job description, because I know in my company, I have a direct marketing person, a social marketing person, a third-party events marketing person. And like I mentioned, my biggest concern is that you guys will come back to council asking for 10,000, 5,000 for different projects that that person didn't have the skill set to do. Because I run into that every single day, and I get that request probably weekly. So I'd like, if I could, I guess I'd like to hear his response, but I may amend my motion.
Let's hear the response on that. Mr. Murmas.
Yeah, if anything, I for sure wouldn't be disappointed. I would be excited if I were you, because I'm taking my time with the description to make sure I address your concerns and that they'll be covering those things, and there won't be separate things for every discipline. I'm trying to find a description that'll work to cover all. So again, I wouldn't be disappointed. I would be happy if I were you.
So I'm going to be happy to take my time, and I'm going to amend my motion to pass the strategic plan for the city of Wooddale fiscal year 2019 through 20, pending review and approval, majority approval of the job description. That's my motion.
Alderman, Mr. Smarsky, you were the seconder?
No,
Art was.
no, I was.
Mike was. Then we vote on the original motion. And still, again, this is just resolution adopting the strategic planning. I believe that they even said there might be some things that are not within the scope of whoever we hire, and we might need some outside, if I remember correctly. That was the answer we were received that day. That there might be, because are you gonna find the magic bullet? The person that does everything may not happen. The person may have expertise in 2 sections, but this one, we may need that $5,000, like you said. And I know you brought it up at that time, and that was and again, this is just the resolution. The manager will come up with the description, and then the budget comes up. So it goes back to the original motion.
Okay.
Good, you have a follow-up?
I would just say maybe our money's better spent starting with a temp for 3 months, seeing if that temp can cover some of this stuff, so we can be a little smarter, and then we hire them full-time if it makes sense and they can deliver. I think this is a very important role. I'm not saying we don't need it.
Right.
I just think we have to be really smart on how we put that job description together.
Mr. Murmas?
Yeah, I'm going to circulate the job description well in advance of doing anything. You guys can feel free to comment as much as you like. I'll take everything into consideration. It'll be a slow-moving process. We want to take our time and make sure we do it right. But again, the intent was to get the ball rolling before next fiscal year started.
And that was the intent of the council members that were at the meeting, that they'd say, let's start sooner rather than later. But it's not moving at a rapid pace, as you can tell. He's still working on it. Alderman Messina had to follow up.
So if we have, that, I guess that was my big concern. If he's saying that he'll take feedback from us, you know, in that job description, then I'm okay with not changing my motion.
Well-
I just, that was my concern, is passing something that I don't know what it's gonna look like, right? And give him the go-ahead to hire somebody based on something that I don't even know what criteria is gonna be, right?
And I'm sure feedback is gonna be welcome, because let's face it, we don't wanna hire somebody, maybe at another job, and comes here because he sees this as an opportunity, and 4 months later, he's history, or she is history, and does not no longer have a job because we were arguing because we thought it should have been this and shouldn't have been that.
Yeah. No, the need is there, so I just wanna be clear.
Okay,
We have a
right,
need,
and
I just wanna make sure the scope.
we understand it,
role-
so.
Yep.
Alderman Roy Wesley, you are next.
So, Mr. Murmas, when we talked on the phone the other day, you said that you were going to do job description to yourself and leave it to yourself and just check around. To my understanding right now, that you are saying right now that this council will get the job description for feedback.
Mr. Murmas.
I said I would send the job description for feedback. I didn't say I was going to listen to any of it, but I'll send it, get feedback. If it's good information and it's valid, then we'll incorporate. But at the end of the day, I'm going to make the job description. My style is not to just hide things. I'm going to show it to you. I'd like to see it. Give me comments. If they're good comments, we'll take it into consideration.
Okay.
You have a follow-up? Go ahead.
I do. In the past, as we're going along here, I see that I've been told one thing, that we're hiring a person to do a certain job, and then all of a sudden, we're hiring them, and I was told that, yes, we're gonna have a person that does this, this, and this, and then all of a sudden, we hire the person, and all of a sudden, that person cannot do that, and we're hiring out a person. We're having other people do our work when we just hired this person to do it. So I'm a little worried about this, on how this all goes about.
Okay. Alderman Woods, you are next.
Yeah, I'm not worried, and to Alderman Messina's point is that this arena or area of expertise is so wide and so broad. If we found a person that could actually do every one of those things and do them perfectly, we'd be hiring the vice president of Google's marketing department for about $5 million. So.
Somebody out of college for 30 grand.
Right, but they're not gonna have that expertise that you're asking for, right, incomplete. So to be fair, I'm sure Jeff's gonna try to put together what do we need, what does he feel that we need, what are those areas, and try to get that person. I did talk to a couple people at the IML that were in that arena, and each person I talked to admitted to shortfalls in different areas, and the same thing that you brought up. So I don't know that we're gonna get the perfect person for whatever that number is we're looking for at $70,000. You might get a better caliber person if we're looking to spend $250,000, and even that person's not gonna have all the things. So I have faith that Mr. Murmas will put together a good thing, and I know that he's always been open to suggestions and letting people look at what he comes up with. Thank you.
Right, and that was what was discussed that Saturday, that was brought up, and we're not gonna get the magic perfect person to do everything. So, do you have a
I
follow-up?
was just gonna
Because
say,
go
as
ahead,
long as we're
Alderman
there,
Messina.
as long as we're ready to prioritize, you're right. I just wanna make sure we have a plan. I don't want somebody sitting in the role, 70, 90, 100
Right.
grand, making something, has no idea. I pretty much guarantee you, if it's a good caliber person, they're gonna come and say, if you wanna do it this way, fine, this is what it's gonna take. If you wanna do this, kinda like what we're doing with Prairie Fest, we're gonna need to up the budget for some stuff, so, as long as we prioritize, and to your point, and yes, he's very good about that, I just wanna make sure it's out there publicly,
Yeah.
that we'll vet it out, and we'll make sure we're smart in who we hire, so, I'm good.
Alderman Sismarski, you were next.
Just to mention, if I'm not mistaken, this is the city manager's department he's hiring for, correct?
Correct.
Did we not give him the go-ahead to
He
do
has,
this?
he has discretion, and let's face it, we wanna make sure everybody.
Therefore, it's not the council's decision, it's Jeff's decision to do it.
Right.
And I'm sure he's not gonna sit there and go either way. He's gonna get whatever he wants by hearing all of us.
I'm sure he's gonna look for the best qualified person for what we're looking for, and again, I can tell you, whoever he hires is not gonna cover 100% of everything. There is gonna be some expertise of something that's gonna have to be hired at some point, I'm sure of it.
That's why there's qualifications.
So, Any other questions? Alderman Eugene Wesley, go ahead.
I agree, he has the right to hire whoever he wants for this position, but this was not a budget item for this year, and we have authority of the council to add personnel or not add personnel. We just cannot add personnel without this council approval.
It is in the budget.
Hold on.
It's in the, but he's taking money that we saved from retired police officers, retired people in other departments. He's taking that money.
But,
But I understand that, Mayor, the money is in the budget.
no, I just want to make a quick comment. And the only reason he's doing that is because that Saturday, the Saturday meeting that was here, we had 5 aldermen here that day and said unanimously, yes, let's move forward now. And that's why he's moving forward.
But we
He
also,
did ask, and we gave the okay that day, that Saturday. And now it's being brought up to you for final ratification. That's what's going on.
but my question, follow up with that, Mayor. So we also increased the stormwater, I mean, not the stormwater, sewer rate. And we already said we have to look at this project and maybe cut something out. So are you, so all our personnel money that we save, we could put it somewhere else. Personnel money doesn't have to be with personnel. It could be moved to another account.
Go ahead, Mr. Bond.
Yeah, actually, it does. You budget for a specific purpose. It has to be used for those purposes. You can make budget transfers. There are some limitations. I'm not the expert. You do have somebody here, but I believe it's at 10% or something in between accounts. So you can't just take, you can't budget for personnel and then take that and use it on a road project. That is prohibited by Illinois law.
Again, the reason he's moving forward is because we have 5 elected aldermen here. Everybody said yes, including myself, to move forward. He's not doing anything out of the ordinary, so, I mean, he's got the approval from the council. Alderman Woods?
Yeah, I was gonna say, this was the council's idea. Jeff didn't come and say, give me the guy,
Correct.
right? This is what we said, and this is the final approval of something, our idea that we came up with, that we voted on, approved already, and now this is the final approval.
Right.
So I understand that there's concerns about what that person does, and he's already said that he's gonna bring that forward so people can see what that is. This is a new position. And secondly, when it comes to the budget year for next year, we can vote it out if we were unhappy with it.
You have a follow-up? Go ahead.
I'm just asking that this meeting, instead of doing it on Saturday, we should do it in the evening when everyone can make it. I mean, obviously, people work on Saturday. Obviously, I had an emergency, I had work. I think it would be best doing it in the evening than doing it on a Saturday.
We can look at that at future meetings. We do
I
this
mean,
every 2 years.
Yeah, but we do it on a Saturday. I think we should move it on the
Well, we
evening.
could have that discussion and work on that. That's, Alderman Jacob, you had
I was just going to comment, I mean, even in the evening, I mean, every alderman here has other things besides being an alderman. I mean, we all have personal things, emergencies could come up even in the evening, so.
Okay.
4-hour meeting now, sorry.
All right,
After the
so,
council meeting.
Mr. Bond, you have another
Yeah.
comment, otherwise?
And again, you're approving the strategic plan, and the Saturday assists in having the kind of discussion that you have without the limitations of time and getting late, the lateness of the hour. You also get bacon there on Saturday, so that's a bonus as well. So-
Is that in the motion?
All right, we have a motion, we have a second. Can we have a roll call, please?
Alderman Catalano?
Yes.
Alderman Jacob?
Yes.
Alderman Messina?
Yes.
Alderman Sorrentino?
Yes, ma'am.
Alderman Sizmarsky?
Yes.
Alderman E. Wesley?
Yes.
Alderman R. Wesley?
No,
Pardon me?
no.
Thank you. Alderman Woods?
Yes.
And that passes.
That concludes my report, Mayor.
Thank you. Under other business, airport noise report.
No report, Mayor.
Okay. Under stormwater, Alderman Eugene Wesley.
No report, Mayor.
Thank you. Approval list of bills, Alderman Messina, you have 2 sets.
Yep, 2 sets of bills. First one dated September 21st, 2017, in the amount of $593,208.94. That is my motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions on these? Roll call, please.
Alderman Catalano.
Yes.
Alderman Jacob.
Yes.
Alderman Messina.
Yes.
Alderman Sorrentino.
Yes.
Alderman Sizmarsky.
Yes.
Alderman E. Wesley. Alderman R. Wesley.
Yes.
Alderman Woods.
Yes.
And that passes.
Second list of bills dated October 5th, 2017, in the amount of $616,215.79. And that is my report.
Second.
Or, excuse me, that's my motion.
Second.
Okay, a motion and a second. Anything on this one?
You go to sleep.
Actually, I do have one, if my iPad, whatever. Brad, I'm sorry, I apologize, I didn't get a chance to call you. 4-page color shopping center tabloid ad. What was that? Miss Chrissy?
What page is that, Mayor? How much is the bill?
$3,525. I apologize, usually I call these ahead of time. Oh, I'm having a little problem with my iPad, Gene, I'm sorry.
That was
Good.
for an advertisement that was done for Shopping Center Business, which is a publication for retail shopping centers. It was distributed at the Chicago Deal-Making event in addition to its regular circulation. This is actually an ad that we have done for a couple of years now at different times of the year.
Okay. Alderman Roy Wesley had a question on that?
Where is these locations? You said Chicago? Where?
Go ahead, Miss Chrissy.
It's
What?
a national publication, but it was distributed in addition to its normal circulation to its membership. It was distributed at the Chicago Deal-Making event.
How many?
Is that to attract businesses? Is that what I'm?
It is,
Okay,
yes.
Alderman Wesley, go ahead. Yes, it's like a part of our marketing budget.
I would like to see this ad and where, how many people see it? And where's it go?
I can certainly provide that information
Okay.
in the manager's report.
Okay, thank you.
No, I would like, not,
Well, I don't think she has it handy right now.
Well, I understand that.
I
don't-
honestly,
I
she
just-
would have if I would have called her.
I just don't want a piece of paper that says, oh, in the manager's report with 2 lines. I want to see the ad, I want to see how many people it went to, where it went.
Yeah, okay.
Can I,
Alderman Messina, go ahead.
this is what, the 3rd year, I think? How many years in a row have we done this?
Well, I've been
Go
here
ahead,
for
Ms.
2,
Chrissy.
so it would have been the 2nd year, but we do
Okay.
it a couple times. So we do a couple months each year in this particular publication and a variety of other publications as well.
And
Good, follow Alderman Messina.
can you just talk about, it is very popular. Like, can you talk about some of the cities? Do you know any of the other cities? I know Downers does it, I think Lombard.
There are,
Go
right.
ahead, Miss Chrissy.
There are a variety of other communities that advertise in these publications: Aurora, Naperville, Downers Grove, Wheaton. I mean, there's a variety of communities
Right.
publish in these publications.
Alderman Jacob, you had a follow-up on it.
Yeah, this publication, is it just here in Illinois, and then it was,
Ms.
or is
Christie.
it throughout the US?
It's a national publication.
National, okay,
All right.
thanks.
All right, thank you. Sorry, usually I call ahead of time.
Hawaii. Does that include US territories?
Okay. All right, we have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Alderman Catalano.
Yes.
Alderman Jacob.
Yes.
Alderman Messina.
Yes.
Alderman Sorrentino.
Yes.
Alderman Sizmarsky.
Yes.
Alderman E. Wesley. Yes. Alderman R. Wesley.
Yes.
Alderman Woods.
Yes.
And that passes.
And that concludes my report, Mayor.
Thank you. No executive session, no items to be referred. Need a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.